Hello, mates. Welcome to Budget Gaming. I'm your host, Finley. Mario's 40th anniversary is right around the corner, and if the 35th anniversary is anything to go off of, there should be some Mario-related announcements sometime this month. So I thought it would be fun to talk about some announcements I'd love to see, the likelihood of the announcements happening, and finally, my realistic expectations of what could be announced, which will also include things that aren't on my wish list. If you like the sound of that, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and let me know down in the comments what you would like to see announced and what you expect to see announced. The first thing I'd love to see is a new Super Mario RPG game, but I'll throw in a controversial twist that I know a lot of people will hate. I want it in HD 2D. Now, I know a lot of people think HD 2D is overused, and to an extent, I understand where they're coming from since we've been getting a lot of games in this art style. But this doesn't change the fact that HD 2D is absolutely beautiful, and Mario would look amazing in that art style. The original Mario RPG was developed by Square Enix, and while it's unclear how much they had to do with the remake, it seems Square at least had some oversight of the project. Since Nintendo worked with Square in some capacity for the remake, why not make a new series entry while using assets from Square, such as the HD 2D style? As much as I would like to see this happen, I think the likelihood of this getting announced for the 40th anniversary is extremely low. Another game I'd like to see announced is a Super Mario Sunshine remake. And I mean a full from the ground up remake, not a remaster like we got for the original Switch. Of all of the 3D Mario games, this is one that deserves a remake the most, with Mario 64 being the possible exception, while Mario Sunshine is still very playable on the Switch, or even the GameCube if you still have one. I think this game would greatly benefit from some tweaks to the controls and camera. Even though this game had some insanely annoying sections, such as the Corona Mountain section, this is still the Mario adventure I had the most fun with, and might honestly be my favorite Mario adventure of all time. This game was beautiful for its time, and I can only imagine what a full remake for the Switch 2 would look like. Sadly, I think the chances of this being announced for the 40th anniversary is basically non-existent. The game is already playable on the Switch because of the remaster, and it is already confirmed to be released on Nintendo GameCube Classics for the Switch 2, so I'm doubting Nintendo is looking for a third option to play the same game. Not to mention, while Nintendo does tons of ports and remasters, they don't do full-on remakes often, especially for Mario. I feel like if they're going to do any remakes, Super Mario Sunshine wouldn't be extremely high on their list. Not so much a game, but I'd love to see announcements for more Mario Kart World Tour characters, costumes, and tracks. While this game already has a decent amount of content, it still feels a little underwhelming compared to Mario Kart 8. And yes, I know Mario Kart 8 had 10 years to get to where it is today, but it still doesn't change the fact that Mario Kart World feels like it's lacking because of it. I could do a full video on costumes and characters that need to be added to the game, but I'll save you all from the boredom and just say this. Where in the hell is Diddy Kong? Like, how can you not have who is arguably the second most popular Donkey Kong character in the game? I have a hunch they're either doing a Diddy Kong expansion for Bonanza and will release Diddy Kong as a Mario Kart World character at the same time, or Diddy Kong is finally getting a sequel to his kart racing series. As for costumes, yeah, I could do an entire video of costumes they could add to the game. But again, to save you from the boredom, they really went cheap on some characters. Donkey Kong only getting 2 costumes is ridiculous. And no costumes for the smaller side characters like the adorable cow or Monty Mole is downright criminal. I see the chances of new characters and new costumes being announced extremely high. So high that I would be shocked if this doesn't get announced. New tracks, on the other hand, I don't really see that being announced. The game is still selling insanely well. And even though it isn't the best game on the Switch 2, it's still the must-play for the system. And for that reason alone, I don't see them putting in the effort with new tracks. Next is something we should have already had years ago, but that is Super Mario Galaxy 2 being ported over to the Switch. Well, I guess it would be the Switch 2 now. I still don't understand why this hasn't already been done. Much like Metroid Prime 2 and 3, there really isn't a good reason for these games to not be released a year after the first game of the series. It's almost to the point where once these games get announced, which I have a strong feeling they will, feelings of, it's about time this got announced will overshadow any excitement for the releases. Of course, fans will buy them, play them, and love them, including me. But I think the initial excitement will be mixed. I think there is a very good chance a Super Mario Galaxy 2 port will get announced for this event. Much like Super Mario Galaxy 2, a new 3D Mario Adventure announcement is also inevitable. It's been nearly 8 years since Super Mario Odyssey, our last new Mario 3D adventure, was released. And that feels like way too long for me, especially considering platforms like the Wii got 2 Mario Adventure games. Now, I know there have been ports since Super Mario Odyssey, such as the Mario 3D Collection and Bowser's Fury, but neither of those were brand new adventures. I would have loved a Super Mario Odyssey 2 on the Switch, but I think that boat has sailed and sank. So once we do get a new 3D Mario adventure, I don't think it'll be an Odyssey follow-up. I think the chances of a new 3D Mario announcement is very high for this event, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a teaser. For the 35th anniversary, we got the Super Mario 3D Collection. This time, I would like to see a Super Mario 2D Collection. Since there are so many 2D games to choose from, which Mario games should go in a collection? I think the most realistic 3 games would be the new Super Mario Bros. For the DS, Wii, and 3DS. A collection of older Mario games would be cool, but it doesn't exactly feel needed since most, if not all, are available on Nintendo Online. And I know a physical release is always better, but it still wouldn't be as cool as being able to play the DS and 3DS games on modern hardware. If this happens, I could see it being a shadow drop, which is something I always love seeing. I feel like the chances for a 2D collection are very high. Now, the particular games for the collection, that's hard to say. While I'm not sure which 3 titles would be most likely to make the cut, I feel like the new Super Mario Bros. Series makes the most sense. Another announcement I'd like to see, and even more so a shadow drop, would be Mario Kart Double Dash dropping on the Switch 2 GameCube lineup. It's a toss-up between Double Dash and Mario Kart 8 being my favorite in the series. But it's been so long since I played Double Dash, it's hard to say which game I prefer. What better way to decide which is better than by playing it on new hardware with upscaled graphics? I'd honestly prefer a full remake, but I know that's not happening. So what are the chances of seeing this announced for the 40th anniversary? I'd say extremely low, especially since they just released World. Now, I definitely see Double Dash joining the GameCube lineup at some point. I mean, it was one of the best games of the entire series, so it has to come to the Switch too. But I think they'll wait at least a year after World's release date. You know, a game I've been wanting for over 20 years? A sequel to Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door, or at the very least, a Paper Mario game that closely resembles the 1,000-Year Door. Now I know we've had 5 Paper Mario sequels since the 1,000-Year Door, and yes, they all ranged from enjoyable to very good. Well, I don't know about Sticker Star since I didn't play that, but the point is, this is a series that changes quite a bit with each title. With the success of the 1,000-Year Door remake from 2024, I would love to see Nintendo make another Paper Mario game that feels closer to the recent remaster. The possibility of this happening feels mixed. Nintendo releasing another Paper Mario game is guaranteed, but the chances of it being tied to the 1,000-Year Door seems less likely, especially when given the series' history. What I don't see is a Paper Mario game being announced for the 40th anniversary. It's been just a little over a year since the last Paper Mario game, and unless they announce a new 3D game as well, I think Mario fans will be a little pissed at the possibility of getting 3 Paper Mario games before getting a new 3D Mario. I'm not one of those fans, but I think it'd be reasonable for 3D fans to feel that way. Much like Super Mario Sunshine, another GameCube game that would make for an awesome remake is the original Luigi's Mansion. This is one series that Nintendo is not shy with making remasters, so why not make a full-on remake for the original? I would absolutely love to see this game with graphics on par with Luigi's Mansion 3, and now with the Switch 2, it would even look better than the 3rd installment. Sadly, with this title already slated for a Nintendo Switch Online release, I think the possibility of this being announced for the 40th anniversary, or happening any time in the near future, is non-existent. Which is a shame, because this was such an amazing game and deserves a full remake. All right now, that was my list of wants. Next, onto the things I think we'll realistically get. First on the list, I think a shadow drop is a given. I know I mentioned a 2D collection shadow drop is likely, and I still stand by that, but I also think some GameCube shadow drops are very possible. Games such as Luigi's Mansion, the Mario Party games, Mario Kart Double Dash, or Mario Sports games on Switch 2 online system. In order of most likely, I could see a sports game as the top contender. We still have Sluggers, tennis, and baseball that could still be released. Luigi's Mansion in second, since we already know it's coming at some point, since it was already announced. I don't really see Double Dash since we just got Mario Kart World 3 months ago, and I don't really see any Mario Party games right now since they just released the new content for the most recent title. I will say that I see every one of these titles on the Switch 2 at some point. I know I already mentioned these, but I see a Mario Galaxy 2 port, a 2D collection, a sneak peek at a new 3D Mario game, and Mario Kart World costumes announced. Maybe some vehicles or characters, but I highly doubt any tracks. I also see Nintendo releasing music tracks from the Mario games on their music app. I never use the app, so I have no clue what Mario tracks are missing, so I can't give an exact guess on what they will announce, but I'm sure something will come out for the app during the 40th anniversary. Lastly, I'm sure we'll see more info on the new Mario movie. I was honestly hoping for a Luigi's Mansion movie next, but I guess a direct sequel is still cool. Hopefully some of the things I mentioned will get announced for the 40th anniversary. I'm honestly not holding my breath, but I thought it would be fun to talk about things I would like to see. If not announced this month, I would still like to see these announcements at some point, even though some of them are extremely unlikely. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button to help this cheeky little budgie out. Until next time, take care, mates!